All right. Good morning, Ann. How are you?
Good morning, Matt. I'm well. How are you?
Doing great. Different spot, New York. Where? So I know you're in New York. You're in Times Square, but like where?
Yeah,
Where
so
in Times Square?
I currently am at the Marriott off of Broadway, and I think it was 42nd the last time I checked. I don't know how far I got. So I walked here from my other hotel, which did not have a good lobby to work in, and it was raining. So my bag's wet. My hair was all curled for you guys. It's just trash. It's where we are today. I think I'm on Broadway and 42nd is where I ended up stopping because the rain got really bad. I didn't bring an
Uh,
umbrella. I'm not a true New Yorker. I'm clearly not from here.
um, I don't usually travel with an umbrella, so I mean
I don't
that's
either.
pretty normal.
It's one of
Yeah.
those
I
gifts I think that you pick up from a souvenir shop and you just have it and then you just dump it somewhere. You leave it at the hotel.
oh maybe yeah, it could be like that, or the hotel. Some hotels give like a complimentary one, so like it just depends.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I
I
don't I
know.
don't pack it because I pack super minimal. Like
Yeah.
my if you look at my suitcase, like it's like tiny. But
Same.
I can pack like 10 days worth of things. If it's just clothes, they can pack 10 days worth of stuff in there, and I'm good.
You want to know what I did for this trip? Because I had to pack my podcast gear, which I didn't end up bringing because I have a day full of in person meetings out all day. So I was like, I don't want to bring like the traditional mic and the laptop and everything. So we're winging it today. We're trying to figure out how to do audio on the phone with this app. So I ended up packing a bunch of my clothes in large Ziploc bags. It's those vacuum seal bags, but I thought we had vacuum seal bags from when we moved and I didn't find any. And I ended up just putting a bunch of different clothing, like outfits by outfit, in a Ziploc bag and just sucked all the air out and just slid in like,
Does it actually work? I don't know.
yes. I
Really?
slid in like 4 layers of different clothes and outfits with my podcast equipment, with my toiletries, with an extra pair of shoes, with there was something else I had to bring too. And then with 2 blazers, like folded up, all in my carry-on. And then I just have my laptop bag. So I felt like a boss. That was a
I'm gonna
good
have to
packing
try
tip.
that. That's
Yeah,
a good. It's like DIY vacuum sealed
exactly.
clothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just large gallon Ziplocs, and you can put like all of your smaller things, all your t-shirts, you just roll them up and do rolls
Yeah.
and rolls of t-shirts and sweaters, and then you just like kneel on it and keep sealing it. And it's literally it takes like
Really?
4 pieces of clothes or maybe three and gets them down to like nothing. So you can just layer them in your bag.
That is enough effort for me to fit my ping pong paddle. Because what happens is I have to put it in a different bag. That's the only one item I can't fit in my carry on,
Oh,
like the box carry on. So I have to put it in my laptop bag, but then it's like really full. I
yeah.
think that's the solution. It's just like you'll give me that, will give me just enough space. I'll try that next time.
You try them.
Um,
Yeah, I did that
good
for
tip.
this trip. And I felt really organized too because I had like different days worth of shirts or outfits or like a pant and a top, whatever combo in a bag. So it was like, oh, this was the outfit I planned for Wednesday. I'm just going to take it out. But I took it all out when I got to my destination. So I started in Philly. I went to Philly for day one. Then I took the train to New York. And now I'm in New York for a couple days. So when I did that, you always have to shake it out and hang it up, or else all of your shit's wrinkled. So
Mhm.
you gotta
So why are
gotta
you in New
take it
York?
out. So
Why are you in New
I'm
York?
in New York because I have a workshop that I do with two other fellow founders and CEOs, Jeff and Akram. And we founded a workshop called Brand and Bank. And it's a really unique panel workshop that we did in Denver and tested it. And it was awesome. It was basically looking at exit strategies for businesses, but well beyond before you're going to exit. So before you're going to think about exiting, a lot of times we build these businesses and found things without the exit in mind. And so the
Hmm.
workshop is to take you through from a financial planner and a tax strategist of not only tax strategies to help pay less to the government from your business, but then there's branding and marketing strategies for me of ways to invest dollars into your business before you have to pay taxes to lessen your tax load and then increase the value of your business with branding and some marketing programs. And then Jeff talks about a lot of strategies and operations to do before you're going to be out because he's the CEO of basically a business brokerage firm and a venture firm, and they buy and sell businesses. So he talks about valuation process and things that you can do well ahead of time before that valuation and before you want to get out. And a lot of people don't know that it takes anywhere from 5 to 7 years to exit your business when you actually think you want to. And so a lot of our economy right now is seeing those boomer businesses from 60 something, 70 something, and they're finally ready to retire. And they're saying they want to exit, and they don't realize it's still 5 to 7 years out in most cases. And usually with a good sales process, they want you to stay in the business for a certain amount of years and
Right.
transition over so that you don't lose a lot of that customer buy-in. So it's a really interesting workshop. There is a networking group in the Northeast called the Galway Network. Brian Bulger I was introduced to Brian through another colleague. Brian founded this networking group that's trickling all over the East Coast and the Northeast. And it's phenomenal with a lot of micro groups within the larger networking group. So there'd be small business group, women's group, technology business group. There's an exit planning group. And so when I was introduced to that, I thought this would be a perfect workshop to start pitching virtually to this group. And also, I've just attended some of the meetings and loved the business owners that I've met. And you can actually be a part of the Galway network anywhere in the country. And so I just happened to be invited to this New York meeting, nonetheless, on September 11th, in person here in Midtown on Thursday to present our workshop to the group and either have them, since they're all business owners, bring us in with their clients and their customers who are also business owners, or having the networking group bring us in virtually to present the workshop as well. We're just trying to grow it virtually and not just stick in Denver for in person.
Cool. So I'm curious, why are you involved? Because like it's a workshop, but where are you in the chessboard?
Because I founded the workshop with two other people and I'm on the panel, it's my workshop with two other members. I'm pitching the workshop because it starts with a 45-minute free kind of teaser intro, and then it's followed by a paid 2-hour full panel workshop event. So I'm literally pitching this to the business owners and also the networking system out here to see if it's a workshop that they would want to bring in and get us scheduled.
So when you say pitching to the business owners, like what I don't understand is like pitching them to a network group, that makes sense. But pitching to business owners, like that's a separate thing. Like what?
No, so I meant the business owners within the networking group. Everybody is a business owner within the networking group here, and they have phenomenal businesses, and all of their businesses have have clients that would want this workshop. So the business owner.
So let me take a step back. So you're going to at least one of these events. The events has a bunch of business owners. You're going there to make the pitch with your co-founders for this workshop.
Yes, but my co-founders are not with me. They're back in Denver. Just I came out.
Okay. So I thought your co-founders were in New York too. Okay. So this makes.
No, they're all in Denver. Yeah. No, so this was just through a connection actually who I also met from Brian Lofermento, how we met. And so she was also on the Wantrepreneur podcast, and Brian thought that we should meet. So this was like 2 years ago that I met Amy, and we hit it off, and we just immediately checked in regularly, kind of like you and me, and we supported each other. And she's an amazing founder, and she's a part of this networking system. I told her about my workshop, and she goes, "Oh, it's for exit planning." There's literally a breakout micro networking group for exit planning, and then all of the business owners in that group own exit planning brokerages, businesses. Mm-hmm. So this would be like the most phenomenal workshop for their client book as well. So I said, I have to get in there. I have to present. Met the owner of the networking system, and he's like, "Oh, this is great. Why don't you come to New York and just be in person? Because we really don't trust people if you're only virtual."
I think it makes a lot of sense that these are networking groups because, like, in my opinion, like a lot of times, like I think networking group, I'm thinking like, I really don't want to show up. But if it's for like around exiting, 99% of business owners that are primed for exit don't even know how to exit. So that makes a lot of sense because you don't know how to get the right information. You got to kind of go out there and get a feel for things. That makes a lot of sense because I'm sure a lot of these networking groups, a lot of people are in the dark. They're just trying to get an understanding of the process before they even do anything.
Love that. Yeah. So yeah, for exit planning, I 100% agree. I think even me, I've never actually had a business valuation done. I don't even know what are the things that they look at. We all think, what's the revenue? What are the books? But there's so many more things that I'm learning from Jeff that go into a business valuation of how you actually value the bones of a business. It's not just your customer and your client book. Everybody thinks that that's the value. Well, the truth is when businesses are acquired, a lot of customers leave. A lot of times there is a transition. Of course, it depends on the business. You can keep a lot of them, but you're buying the structure, the SOPs, the processes, the brand. If a brand's been around for ages and you don't have to do a lot of heavy lifting and you already get this completed business that exists, a lot of times those are valuable, even if you don't have, all of the revenue. So a lot of times people just don't know what goes into how you put value on a business to sell it. You don't even know what it's worth. And a lot of times people don't even want to go there because they just think that they don't have anything that's valuable. So they don't get a valuation and then they just close it or they retire. They let the business just diminish. And it could have, even if it's like $50,000, if it's something that someone's worth, they're willing to pay to say, hey, this is a great business structure. It's like a house. This house has great bones. We're just going to renovate it. You want something that's already there versus net new. There's a lot
of. It depends if it's great, right? Part of the thing is part of the whole process is understanding your own due diligence before someone else does it and seeing, or do you have good structure? Or in the same metaphor, right? Other termites, eating up some of the wood and support beams.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? You have to kind of understand the structure. I know a lot of business owners, they look at the top of the line revenue, but really ignore the bottom line and really don't understand, you gotta actually be decently profitable.
Right.
Otherwise, right. You have 2 million revenue and you have 2 million expenses. It's just, you have a different kind of problem to worry about.
Right. Well, and what Jeff really focuses on too is the internal operations of the people. So how are things set up to actually run what you deliver and run and deliver what you deliver and sell to your customers? And so a lot of times if that's really laid out well and you have strategies and systems in place, you're buying systems. You're also, because you can hire people left and right, but if you're bringing them into something that is plug and play, that's already set up for that experience to run that business, then you're essentially buying something to renovate it versus buying something to create from brand new. It depends on what experience you want, right?
So do you get customers from Fix and Form for this? Because you do a lot of branding with Fix and Form, right? These are a lot of, if you're going through an exit strategy and you're going through that planning for that long of a duration, part of it is you got to bump up the marketing, and part of bumping up the marketing is a brand. So do you get clients from this engagement?
So yes, this is why we created this panel event, because we're all getting clients from it, because there's a lot of everyone who attends is a business owner or a business leader or visionary who has some impact in their business. And you literally have a CEO of a brokerage firm that buys and sells businesses and does valuations. Then you have the CEO of a financial planning business who's a tax strategist and a business and personal financial strategist. And then you have the CEO of a branding and marketing agency. So all of those things, you're getting the thought leadership of, what can we do with the brand, which is a client, right? So there's branding work that's needed after this workshop saying, I've learned what are the areas in my business that I actually need to improve? What are the things that matter from Jeff? Then how many dollars are we leaving on the table with Akram to say, hey, you don't need to pay taxes on this. And then, what can we do with those dollars? Here's Ann chiming in, saying these are some great marketing strategies and brand improvements to help your business have a higher valuation when you're actually ready to start thinking about what the exit plan is. And a lot of people think exit planning is retirement and old age and I'm just done. But you and I both know this, we found stuff all the time. We'll just found businesses and we'll sell them or we'll offload them when the time is right. You can actually use exit planning as a part of your business strategy when you're younger of founding companies. The exit plan needs to be in place, even if you're getting maybe a shareholder and you're dipping out and you're having some more help in the business. That needs evaluation too. You also need someone who understands your business to understand what's that worth and what is someone going to buy into.
So let me pause you there. So what's the age demographic in these typical workshops? Because this feels different than my world, actually.
Yeah, I would say it's been all over the board. We've anywhere from 35 all the way up to 60 attend.
Really? So the reason why I asked, because like a lot of like I've exited before, and then I have a lot of friends who've exited, and none of them did any of this stuff. It was like always, I wouldn't say it was spontaneous, but always started with like a conversation in person somewhere. And it just so happens things aligned maybe like 6, 12, or 18 months later. And
Yeah.
then the acquisition was most of the time smooth. I'm sure there are details some of my friends left out, but for the most part, it felt smooth. So it's like, it was never like 5, 7 years. It was like 2 years um, from the idea of being born somewhere, and usually, and then they're out. Usually, it's either they're out or there's like some type of golden handcuffs where you have to stay for like 1 to 3 years, because depending on what the deal is, everyone's financial situation is different. So they'll
It
stay a little
depends on
longer.
the business
It
type
was never
too.
like, what do you
Like
mean?
if it's more of a product, like if you've created a product company that has a good lead flow and you've set up those sales funnels, I
Mhm.
don't feel like there's a lot of handoff. So you could just go sell it easily and be done. But if you have a company that's more
Mm,
consulting and relationship driven and service based, I feel like that's where it gets a little sticky. And also there's the golden handcuffs because you were the thing that they were buying,
I
right?
see. So
So
I'm thinking like 10,000 feet above. Does that really mean if you're a consulting business, small consulting business, and you want to sell, it really means you are subscribing to be in employment for 2 years? That's what it feels like.
correct. Yes, absolutely.
So
Most of the time.
how do these folks handle that? Because like we had this conversation in the last podcast
Yeah.
with Danica. It's like both of us are unemployable. How do these people who run businesses, like, they're not really employable, or is it because now they got an exit, like they don't even care? Like, what's the mindset there?
You know what that looks like, Matt? That looks like a contract that says you have to stay in the business for 1 or 2 years and work for us as an employee. And they do jack shit. Do you think they're
Yeah, I was about to say,
actually
just do bare
working
minimum.
in the business? No, they're doing the bare minimum to fulfill the contract, to show up, to be there, to be in meetings, to maybe talk to a client or two and tell them what's going on. But honestly, I don't know many that when they have the golden handcuffs and they just want to get out. Most of the people I've met that are in that situation are later in life and they're doing that to sell something to retire. They're
Mhm.
already out the door. They're playing golf. They're like, yeah, maybe I'll take this meeting from the country club. Like they don't want to be in the business working. So I would agree with you. We're unemployable. When you found something and you own a business and work for yourself, you're not going to go work for someone else. Especially, I mean, if there's that dollar amount in the bonus and you're getting some vested interest over the years that you're still there, of course you're going to have some type of commitment, especially to your customers and your clients. But most of the time they're out. So it's really just a contractual thing. If the acquiring company absolutely needs you for any reason, they can put your head to the fire. Say, hey, like, you've got to show up for this. But most of the time it's just a nicety thing. It's, oh, look, he's still around, she's still around. It's a new ownership, but we're here. And that's not always the case. I will actually use this story as an example. Our pest control company was phenomenal in Lakewood. Okay, we used it was awesome. We had regular check-ins. They had great communication. They had an amazing office staff. We love them, and I did a lot of work to find them. We got an email from them a couple months ago. Hey, Monster Pest Control has been acquired by, who gives a fuck? I don't remember the name, right? And now there's a new company who's running the show for this company. And guess what, Matt? Within minutes, they already failed me and lost my business. Here's why. I immediately responded to the email. It said, "Hey, existing customers of Monster, just email us back and we'll make sure you're grandfathered into the same pricing that you had with them." So they did a great job in that email of laying out my questions. And then I just wanted to make sure I scheduled our next visit. It's usually spring and fall we do extermination. I emailed back, nothing. But for me, I did my job. You said email back to get your next visit scheduled. I did my job. So it checked it off my list.
Mhm.
Well, I don't hear from you for a week or two or three. And I go through and live my life. And then I look at the calendar and I'm like, shit, I didn't get the pest control scheduled. Email them again. Then I look up their phone number and I call them. Goes to an answering service, left a message and emailed again, nothing back. I was like, do they want my business or not? Then I email again. Then I look them up online, call them again, nothing. It said they even had a voice recording for it. For existing Monster
you're
Pest
very
Control.
Nice. You were actually still contacting them.
Yeah, I know.
I would be done. I would be already
because
done.
when I first found a pest control company years ago and found Monster, it was a lot of work. It was actually kind of a pain in the ass. So I didn't want to do that again. So I was like, can I just hope that this company is the same? So anyway, it didn't work. So I was like, fine, fuck you too. You don't want my business? I'm going to go somewhere else. So then I finally had to go back. And then it was the pain point of not only did they fail me, but I had to go back and do all that research of pest control, which is so annoying. And I called 6 pest control groups in the area and only heard back from 2. I'm like, do people just not want to work? So anyway, perfect example of an acquisition gone bad. The owner didn't stay involved. It was a handoff. It was, we were purchased. This is where we are. We're out. And then everything was gone. My whole brand experience was tarnished. So that is a way that you don't want to exit a business. That was pretty brutal. That was pretty, so the acquiring pest control business, I'm sure lost a lot of customers, or they didn't realize how many customers they were acquiring from a really solid brand, and they got inundated, and it mixed with their own business. They couldn't fulfill the job, so they just stopped calling people back, and they grew too quickly. Because then when you acquire, that can happen.
It's the owner's fault, right? Once you hand off the keys and you see a downturn and everything, well, the original founder or the original CEO is out. Even if there might be still acting CEO, they're out. They're already 1 foot out the door if they're on that contract. So it's up to the business, the new entity, to make sure things are running. If things are going downhill, that's their fault. It's not anyone's. It's not the CEO who sold the business fault at all. No way.
No.
So
yeah.
All right. I know you have to run for your workshop. We have to do another episode on M&A. There's a lot to unpack.
There's a lot to talk about. And there's a lot to talk about on the branding side of things, and how that greatly impacts M&A, and how, equitable you even look. Is that a word? Equitable? Acquirable? It's not equitable. It's acquirable. How appealing you look. This is before coffee, Matt. I haven't even had coffee. I literally just walked through the rain to get here, and my headphones aren't working.
The rain is the coffee.
The rain. You know what was my coffee? I will share one last thing before I jump off. I went to go turn the shower on in my hotel this morning, and it was totally one of those things you see in a movie. The shower head was turned, and I didn't look up first, directly to my face. So I literally was like, oh, okay, looking at the hot and cold, and I turned the shower on, and cold water directly in my face, all over the bathroom this morning, and I just lost my shit. I was laughing so hard. I was like, okay, I'm awake. I think the maids sometimes do that. Maybe housekeeping does that just to fuck with people, but I absolutely...
It's New York. I mean, whatever happens, I don't think they care.
You don't care. But I was looking for a hidden camera, because I was like, okay, I totally I was had. What is this? So that's my coffee. But yes, it was lovely seeing you from Times Square. Here, I will slowly pan over to this beautiful, rainy Times Square morning in New York of lights. So that's it.
Well, glad you're in good spirits. Good luck to your workshops or your meetings today. And we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks,
Sounds good. Thanks, Matt. See you later.